Happy Super Bowl Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're doing a brief video talking about the latest Aaron Rodgers news. Now, before we get into it, make sure if you guys go on to enjoy today's video to subscribe down below. It takes just a second. It is free. It really helps me out on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And two, make sure you comment down below who you guys have tonight, Eagles or Chiefs, for the Super Bowl. Personally, I think the Chiefs win it. I would rather the Eagles win it, but I think the Chiefs do complete the three-peat. And yeah, that's just kind of how I see it going. For this video, though, so this morning it was officially reported that the Jets did tell Aaron Rodgers they are going to be moving on from him. So, they bring in Aaron Glenn just, a few weeks ago after firing Robert Saleh halfway through the year. So they have their future head coach, and I guess they kind of meet internally and say, you know what? We're just going to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Honestly, I see the vision. Rodgers is an aging quarterback. They had a very bad year this past year. I can see the new head coach being Aaron Glenn, wanting to get his guy. And yeah, so this report right here says Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey last week to meet with the Jets about his future with the team, only to be told that the team was moving on from him. If that means that he will be a June 1st designation, that allows him to sign with any team in the league on March 12th if he decides to continue to play. Given that Aaron made the effort to fly back to discuss his future, all signs point to him continuing to play. It just won't be for the Jets. So that begs the question, first off, how much longer are we thinking Aaron Rodgers has? In my opinion, I would be surprised if it's 2. I mean, I think if he plays this next season, it will be it. If we're all really lucky, including Aaron, maybe he gets 2 more seasons. But what's interesting, though, is when you look around the league, I don't see a lot of fits for him. I can't see him at his age wanting to go play for the Titans or the Browns or the Raiders. You'd have to think a spot like the Vikings, like the reply says, or at least one of the replies say, would be the best fit, but they just have McCarthy. They still have Darnold as of right now. That just doesn't seem like very likely that they would put off another season of the rookie that they love to bring in aging Aaron Rodgers. I don't totally get that. So, in my opinion, I think the Steelers make a lot of sense. I'd be surprised if they kept Russell Wilson around. Mutual respect from Tomlin and Rodgers. Rodgers would have a good enough roster to continue trying to make a run at a Super Bowl. The Steelers have come short a few years now, but they've been competitive, and I do think their roster is good enough to continue to compete in a very tough division. But other than that, it's interesting. I'm not sure what to really expect from Rodgers' decision at this point. Now, again, there's always just the chance that now that the Jets told him they're not interested, he just says, okay, you know what? I'm just going to retire. And at that, then that's all. That is all there is to it. There's no point of even making this video. Now, again, the fact that I'm doing this, though, I feel like Rodgers is going to keep playing. And so, for me, as I said before, I think the Steelers is the most likely. But they also have a lot of things to figure out because their offense has a very bad habit of being quite dysfunctional when the games tend to matter a lot more, as the season progresses. I think in this case, this past year, the disagreement between Pickens and Wilson, I think that was a bit more hostile than people probably realized. It just seemed like Pickens was just kind of done with Wilson and just inconsistent as far as getting him the ball. Now, I understand this, though. I guarantee people are going to say, well, why would Rodgers go there? He just had Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, 2 receivers that are both better than George Pickens, at least in my opinion. So why would he want to go to a team like that where if it didn't work that way, why would it work this way? And to be honest with you, I kind of understand that. It's a good point. I've been thinking about it because, like I said before, there's not a lot of other options, at least in my opinion. That's why the Steelers make the most sense, but still not really a lot of sense. And that's why I can also understand if Rodgers decides to retire, because I'm not sure what other fit he really wants to do if he wants to continue competing for a Super Bowl. I mean, if he doesn't, then of course, there is the Raiders, there is the Titans, there is the Browns, and things like that. But at this point, you got to think he's looking to compete. He's not wanting to sit through a rebuild in his final season, maybe second to last season. It's got to be a win now roster. So I think the Steelers really makes the most sense. Now, if we want to get way out into the conspiracy theories, if you guys want to, Deebo Samuel did just request a trade, and it seems like they're probably going to honor that. I think both sides kind of agree it's time. So, does it make sense for a possible Rodgers Deebo Samuel, team up as like a 1-year thing? Again, it might be a little out there. It's fun to kind of think about, but these are two guys that are going to be highly sought after in the offseason. Rodgers, even with his age, there's this narrative that he's not good and a lot of teams don't want him. While I think it's true that not a lot of teams want him, he is still able to be a bridge quarterback. He is still a value starter. He's not a top 5 quarterback in the league anymore, but I think the idea that everybody just kind of, throws their hand at Rodgers, I don't really think that's true. I think he will be sought after. I think it has to be the perfect fit, though. As for Debo, it does say the 49ers have granted Debo Samuel and his agent permission to find a trade partner for the wide receiver. This comes after Samuel asked San Francisco to trade him during the players' exit meetings after the season. So, again, I would have a hard time thinking Samuel would go to a team that isn't really a contender unless he gets a lot of money. In which case, you have to think how much money is Rodgers getting, all that, whatever. Again, this is still about a month or two in advance from where we can see Rodgers possibly sign or something. But, a Debo trade is always possible to happen in the near future. As far as fits go for him, though, I think it'd be kind of fun to see him on, like, the Chargers or something. A team that, like, showed a lot of promise but still needs a few more steps. I would love to see Debo Samuel there, in LA with Justin Herbert. Obviously not an Aaron Rodgers team up there, but just a spot for him to go, I think would be really cool. If we want to talk about the Steelers again, though, do we think the Steelers could possibly pull off bringing in Debo and Aaron Rodgers in the same offseason? And is that even something they want to do? And to be honest, I think it's probably very far-fetched, but I think it would be pretty interesting. You'd have an offense now with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, George Pickens and Debo Samuel, and Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of a cool idea in theory, which, to be fair, so is having Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, and Devontae Adams, but we all saw how that went. But at the end of the day, we are going to see Aaron Rodgers and Debo Samuel on new teams next year, and it's kind of crazy to think about, but again, we're a little ways off. I'm going to be covering all the free agent stuff whenever that comes about, probably about a month and a half-ish from now, a little over a month. Again, I'll do some predictions for that and then also cover any big moves as they happen, and also I'll go over every single team's biggest move after it's all kind of slowed down. So be on the lookout for that. If you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. I do a lot of NFL videos kind of like this, just brief stuff. I also cover teams and do predictions and player rankings and team rankings and all that kind of stuff. So it's always NFL content on the channel. I just like to be able to talk about it, sometimes for a long time, sometimes for a short time like this. But I do think it's kind of interesting right now to think about where Rodgers could possibly land. I think there's a lot of options when you just think about it, kind of, I guess the pool of teams that need quarterbacks. But then when you think of where Rodgers wants to go, it slims down a lot. So I'd be very interested to see what he's interested in and who's actually interested in him, because I don't think it's going to be as many that he's interested in that might want him. But again, that's going to do it for the video. Just kind of hypothesizing here, really. But make sure to comment down below who you guys have in the Super Bowl tonight. And also, where do you think Debo might go? Where do you think Aaron Rodgers might go? Again, a lot of other free agent moves are going to be happening soon. So any other comments about that, let me know. I appreciate all the support there. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.